Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
99% of people in the space of the crypto market have to be in the loss in order to make a very few people, lucky ones or experienced and skilled ones, be in the profit. So the only one thing which you can do is learn something new every day, study, and in order to be like on the one step higher than the majority of the investors, of the traders in the space. And this is the thing which I try to help you with, guys, with my everyday updates of the market. So please subscribe and leave a like if you like this content. And today, as usual, we'll talk about the situation in the crypto space. You're watching Crypto Hamster channel. Let's go.
Let's go.
It is the time to make plans, guys. So while we're still trading within this region of $6,500 per Bitcoin, I think it is time to think what shall we do depending on how the market will evolve eventually. So, and although I remember we had this sort of plan, I still stick with that. It's just quite a bit delayed. It's exhausting for players in the market, so they can make wrong moves. But the idea is, in my opinion, again, that we need to make a go to like a move towards to the higher level than the sharp drop, V-shaped reversal going up to the previous levels, or like higher levels, and then slow decrease, like a correction of this move. And around ETF we will go straight to the moon, well, not to the moon, but very strong, probably make a new higher high. So, but while we're still waiting this to happen, maybe actually looking at this long side trading, so like sideways trading, probably everything of this may happen in much faster fashion, like from this area, like up down up down up, like this. So like within a week or within a few days, it's really easy, and it will maybe even shake out even more players than it would be done in this sort of a more relaxed manner. So, but what I was going to say is, I was going to like not summarize, but like share with you my two scenarios of what is happening in global scale within the crypto space. And you see that there's like, maybe there are two narratives, I would say, two main narratives about where the next huge move will be. And you see, we had this 1, 2, 3, 4 bottoms, and this was like again around 6,000, and actually, sorry, my bad, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we have like fifth one. So this one was below 6,000, this was like a little bit higher than 6,000, below 6,000, around 6,000, again around 6,000. So we're sort of getting used to what is happening now, and there are maybe like two major simple explanations, and usually the best explanation is the simple one. So maybe not the obvious one, but simple one. So you see, first way to explain that is that this is the region, 6,000K is the region where the huge players are collecting bitcoins when they are buying, basically based on some of the data from the volume, from the exchanges, from the let's say the Bitcoin addresses activity. I would say that is very likely to happen. So the thing is, huge players buy here, so they either do that to sell it above this level, right, or just to collect a lot of Bitcoin. So if they do collect a lot of Bitcoin, in order to sell that eventually, to push the market down, in order to buy even more Bitcoin on a very low level, this is the second scenario. I would think that actually the first is more reasonable, but well, you can't really say, right? So maybe it would happen that, like you see again, we have this ETF thing in September, end of September. but like technically, if you look at that, it's maybe not enough steam went out from the Bitcoin machine, and there's still some, and people react quite aggressively for any sign of the bullish momentum in Bitcoin and altcoins. So we need to have more like despair from the market players, and as soon as this will be like, just imagine that ETF decision will be negative, so they will reject, SEC will reject ETF proposal from CBOE. So it means that probably this thing will happen. So market will go down, Bitcoin will go much lower, and well, yeah. So that will dump the things much lower, especially altcoins. So while now altcoins like 90 to 95% loss average, maybe, I don't know, well, quite a lot, then eventually it will be from the all-time high maybe 99 to 99.9% loss, and from that point the growth of further growth to like 100x or even 1000x is not that crazy anymore, because they dumped so hard. So it is possible, right? And technically, if this will be a rejection of ETF, then it will be probably traded around below 5,000 or something like $5,000 for a while, until maybe they will manage to accept ETF in February, so it will be like postponed decision. Then the reaction will be not that strong, but still will go down, and they will trade it around here, and people will like say, okay, nothing is happening. So just very few people will stay at February, until February, if it will be in February, the next decision, next announcement. If that will happen, then it's much more reasonable to like collect, reasonable situation for the huge players to collect those bitcoins in this low region, and then shoot to the upwards after some new movement or something. Why I personally incline to the first option, first scenario, when huge players, huge like whales, whatever you call them, are accumulating in these levels in order to sell eventually at higher level, not in order to push market down. In my opinion, actually it's very risky. So just imagine that you have like $100 million which you consider to invest in crypto, and it means that, well, it is risky, right? So you need to minimize the risk. If you play long, then it's much easier, because most of the markets are going up eventually, and if you go short, then that's why it is called short. You should be very careful, because you may be washed out with like huge demand from the buyers, like not from the demand of the Bitcoin from buyers, because something crucial will happen, like new technology will appear which will boost the Bitcoin, or some regulatory issue will happen, like really positive one, or for example, I don't know, some new like black swan thing happen. So anyway, it may really happen that you can't sell your Bitcoin, buy your Bitcoin while you already sold a lot, when you went short, right? So you need to do this. You need to make your lots or your sells, your buys in the high liquidity periods. So that's how the huge players act in the market. That's why I believe that they better consider this to be like conservative bottom, and they buy here, and probably they expect this to sell eventually much higher at the time when the hype will be at the max, like new all-time high. They probably will sell when everybody will, and on the way to that, like these small corrections when everybody will buy. So this is my like personal opinion and estimation of the current condition and what to expect, right? So the thing is, you know, the most like maybe not the most, but one of the biggest mistakes of all the newcomers who do their investment in crypto and market in general, so that they actually don't have the exact plan what to do. So they just jump into the space, they buy the assets they like, and they expect it to grow, and they eventually think, okay, the thing that they will get some profits, and then they will buy something like a Lambo or whatever. In reality, it's very crucial to know exactly at which price you will sell this or that part of your investment. Will you sell in a loss, and when? Will you sell in a profit, and when, and which conditions? And most of the people don't do that, don't have this plan. And why I'm telling you all of that is just because to like highlight this and stress this out, that people, you need to have the strict plan what to do. And while we have this sort of a sideways trading action, it's really the time to reconsider everything which you have. Do you have like additional funds to invest when it will be like making you high, something like that. So please be careful, please be thoughtful, always consider at least two scenarios, and do your own research. Don't forget that everything we just say is not a financial advice, it's just my personal opinion, guys. But also during the bull market, we know that everything will go up, right? Well, at least most of the things will go up, reasonable project, etc. But actually, what exactly will happen? Like previously, the market was not that mature, and we knew that Bitcoin probably will go up, but what happened then? So Ethereum was the thing which happened next. So with the smart contracts, it was very new, and while initially people think, oh, what the hell, and then eventually, oh, well, Ethereum is maybe next Bitcoin or something. So it was sort of a black swan event in crypto, and something new, right? So something new which never happened before. What will be the new thing now? Nobody knows, because it's so new. I mean, XRP may be the first line in crypto market cap, maybe, or some new coin with like great parameters, tax, and supported by United States government will appear, and then everybody will invest in that as a safe haven or something like that. Nobody knows really. Or like this ICO. Our ICO was the boom in 17th year, and what will be the next kind of event similar to ICO? Like, well, I think John McAfee arguing something about what is ICP or something, initial credit or initial loan credit something. So I don't remember exactly the words, but the idea is that you basically, instead of buying tokens, you signed up the contract with the company issuing like the project, so that you are giving them a loan, and they are promised to pay you back eventually. So, and this is out of the regulation, like utility security for the tokens, so it's really cool. And it will probably work in United States of America, and then much bigger market. So maybe something like that. So what will be the next black swan event, or what will happen that never happened before? We don't know, but we need to be like considering this thing. And also, you see, if nothing outrageous really happened, then apparently Bitcoin will go first to the upside. And since the markets are more mature, I think altcoins will probably follow quite fast to that. But just considering how the risk tolerance will be distributed along this process, I think among the market players, I think people will first invest in Bitcoin, and second they will make like investment first 10 altcoins, since they are more reliable, and then at least in like longer term, and then if the market will go down, it's still better than to have some shitcoin. Then probably first 20, first 50, and first 100. So those will make first moves based on probably their cap. So of course it's nice to have reasonable swing trading, but we need to consider who will be a first mover. So I think it will be like that. So please do your own research, guys. But what I was just trying to stress out, it's very important to know what to do and like have a plan A if B will happen, or plan C if D happen, and etc, etc. And if you are interested of other thoughts in this sort of way, sorry, maybe today's was pretty long, but you see, this is the sideway trading, and we have time to ramble about like the things which you may not have time to discuss when the price moving much sharper. So now it's time, why not, to talk about it. So if you like this kind of content, please subscribe, consider to leave a like, and also follow me on Twitter, because there I'm much more active, much more TA, and just the thoughts about the like interesting events in market, in the space. So please do that. If you do, I would be very happy to see you tomorrow, because I do updates of the market every day. And yeah, safe trading, guys. See you.